Welcome to YellBro. I am Jordan, and today we have the Epstein thing where Trump's name being mentioned in it, as you can see on screen, and also the Russiagate thing where gossip about Hillary Clinton, I guess, her health problems or something. I don't know. But first, do not forget to share, support, hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Check them out, read them, share them, then donate. All of it is very much appreciated. All right. So as you see on screen right here, from the the Wall Street Journal, Jesus. Uh, Justice Department told Trump in May that his name is among many in the Epstein files. So apparently, allegedly, this guy was aware that his name was mentioned several times amongst other people, by the way, and he knew since May, which is pretty damning, I would say, if true. Right? Let me just read the caption too. Bondi also told the president at the meeting that Justice decided what that Justice Department, I guess, whatever AG office decided not to to not release more Jeffrey Epstein documents because of the presence of child pornography and the need to protect victims, which is understandable. But the parts were like, hey, your name's being mentioned, amongst others. That should probably be released, right? And in fact, all the actions you've taken around this Epstein thing makes it seem like, whether you're guilty or not of anything, it makes it seem like you are purposely hiding it, like for embarrassment or for criminal reasons. But let's continue here. As you see, also in the Wall Street Journal article, when Justice Department officials reviewed what Attorney General Pam Bondi called a truckload of documents related to Jeffrey Epstein earlier this year, they discovered that Donald Trump's name appeared multiple times, according to senior administration officials. Huh. That mean he has like rats on his fucking thing or something? I don't know. Um, in May, Bondi and her deputy informed the president at a meeting in the White House that his name was in the Epstein files, the official said. Many other high profile figures were also named, Trump was told. Being mentioned in the records isn't a sign of wrongdoing, which, I agree with. But maybe Trump recognizes that, not everyone's going to do that, right? Not everyone's going to be like, oh, let's, innocent until proven guilty type stuff, right? He could be very worried what his fan base, or at least a decent portion of his fan base, might do. Uh, Once again, the QAnon guys, you can't rely on them. They will they will dick ride no matter what. It is what it is. Uh, the official said it was a routine briefing that covered a number of topics, and that Trump's appearance in the documents wasn't the focus. Hold on, let me look at that. The official said it was a routine briefing that covered a number of topics, and that Trump's appearance in the documents wasn't the okay. So their meeting they had, I guess, it wasn't made to be a big deal in the you know in their whole briefing of all the different shit they're going over. Got it. Um, they told the president at the meeting that the files contained what officials felt was unverified hearsay about many people, including Trump, who had socialized with Epstein in the past. Some of the officials said. One of the officials familiar with the documents said they contained hundreds of other names. So I would expect that. But here's the part that's kind of weird. Unverified hearsay about many people, including Trump. Meaning, is it like witness testimony? Where they're like, yo, I saw Trump at this party. He was like doing the weird shit too. Could it be something like that? And even though it's quote unquote unverified, as in they don't have like video footage of it. But if a witness said that, that would be worthy of us hearing. Um, could it be something as simple as, I mean, I think people already knew that Trump was on his plane, right? And then Epstein's brother said that that Epstein was on Trump's plane several times. Uh, that one's a weird one, and this whole thing is not including any child porn, right? So, thus, this should have been released. And him knowing about it since May is just, that's fucking damning to me. I think that's pretty damning. Like, the mystery of it is the thing that's just making you look really bad, dude. So, it makes you look like you want to cover up something. But, alright, last part here, they also told Trump that senior Justice Department officials didn't plan to release any more documents related to the investigation of the convicted sex offender because the material contained child pornography and victims' personal information, the officials said. Trump said at the meeting he would defer to the Justice Department's decision to not release any further files, and that's just the pornography part, right? And victim personal information. But this other stuff, like why? How come? Where? Where's that at? Brain melting. You look guilty now. You could have looked innocent though. Brain cells rotting away. Um. Okay. Continuing. Hopefully, my cropping's working. Of course, here we have Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, right? I think, yeah, saying he's going to essentially push back this whole process to get more clarity on the situation until I think into September, right? Yeah, into September. It's like actually going out of his way to suspend the House, apparently. And I'll play this audio. I believe the beginning where it's very hard to hear. It's like very quiet. The reporter asking a question. I believe the reporter's asking, "Hey, did Trump tell you not to do this, or to like suspend the House till September? Did Trump give you that order? Like, what's up?" I believe it's a question like that. So let's hear it out. Here we go. It's just very quiet. I can't even hear with the headphones on.
No, no, but as you all know, I speak to the president multiple times a day on a typical day, often, always. And what I know about the president's heart on this is that he agrees with everything I've said here today. He wants maximum transparency, but he's also very insistent that we do not subject people who have already been victims of unspeakable crimes to further public scrutiny. And it would be a very...
No one's asking for the victims' names and phone numbers and shit like that. No one's asking for the fucking child porn either, dude. Just give us the information that isn't shit like that. Just hand it out, dude. Release it so people can see it and go through it themselves. Once again, if Trump's just worried about being seen as guilty because his name is brought up at some point, I mean, you gotta... It's like we're not your children. We're your constituents, right? Let us decide what the fuck we think about it, because it just comes off as shady, and this is definitely shady with the pushing back of or suspending the House. But and then with like I think people have seen Thomas Massie walking around, trying to is pushing for phase 2. As they call it, of the Epstein stuff, the Epstein files. And this article back here is, if this is true, it's verifying that there is more to all of this other than like, and not just like child porn and fucking victims' names and whatever, phone numbers or whatever. But there is more to it. They're just not releasing it because Trump looks bad, obviously. But all right, let's continue. Here we go.
Very dangerous thing to put those people's names out or to do a release of information in a way that is haphazard where they could be easily unmasked. And so you have to be very careful about how you do that. I think we have a moral responsibility to do that. We have a moral responsibility to expose
one's
the
asking
evil
for
of
that.
Epstein, and everybody was involved in that. Absolutely. And we're resolved to do it. But we also have an equal moral responsibility to protect the innocent. And that is
You hear the fake emotion and slamming the fucking podium. Like, that, I'm not buying that shit, dude. Sorry. Your fake little emotion shit, bro. Not doing it. Here we go.
and we're resolved to do it. But we also have an equal moral responsibility to protect the innocent. And that is a fine needle to thread. And we could all give ourselves easy political cover and come out and do something in a haphazard fashion, but I would not be able to sleep at night because I know our legal responsibility. I understand what the legal standard is, but more than that, the moral standard, okay? So we're going to do this, and we're going to do
It's such bullshit. Appealing to morality. Bullshit, bro. You got, like, when it's shit we actually want, right? And let's say they release, like, some sort of paper about it. The things we want to hear about are, like, fully blacked out, right? So now they have this Epstein thing. Why can't you do that with victims? Why can't you fully black out their fucking names? How long does that take? Apparently, Pam Bondi and the FBI and all these other motherfuckers were looking at it since fucking May, at the very least, like minimum since May. Meanwhile, the whole Tulsi thing, right? As soon as it's needed for distraction and to get into a bullshit tussle with the Democrats, boom! All of a sudden, she's got graphics, she's got reports, she's got files, ready to go. Apparently. So bullshit, guys. Bull fucking shit. Here we go.
standard is, but more than that, the moral standard, okay? So we're going to do this, and we're going to do it expeditiously. We're going to do it the right way.
The right way.
What is popular isn't always right, and what is right isn't always popular. I had an eighth grade teacher tell me that one time. I carried it with me my whole life. We're going to do the right.
Yeah, you definitely pulled that from 8th fucking grade. Like, we're... People fall for this shit. I mean, this one's a hard one for people to just fall for. I assume even Trump fans are going to shit on this guy. I have to assume that. They might leave Trump alone, right? Like, oh my God, we saw the thing. Trump's vindicated. We read the article. Trump's vindicated in that article. Like, why are you looking for him to be innocent? Like, tell him to release the fucking thing and let us decide for ourselves. Why are we trying to read this through the Wall Street Journal and their, let's be real, limited releases and behind paywalls? Why are they the fucking arbiters of us getting this information? Or any information? Fuck. Why'd the Wall Street Journal only get Trump's name? And it's like, oh, there's hundreds of other people too. Like, everyone's fucking just hiding this thing from us, apparently. Apparently, we can't handle it. And I understand there are people that probably can't, that might do something stupid or wild. But for the most part, I think people can, like, at least, like, the politically active people that can research things, they can look through it and not, grab a pitchfork immediately. They can read context and shit like that. Whatever.
The right thing here. And the American people at the end will see that we did that in the right way and on the right timetable. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen for you, Mikey boy. You're already, at this point, you're already another fall guy. Before it was Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, and now you're another one. More fall guys. All right, let's go to the Russiagate stuff, right? Now, I read through the official documents, which are right here, and there's only like a few things that I want to point out. I'm not gonna read through every little fucking line. I'm just going to give you my opinion, and I'm going to link it so you can read it yourself. And I'm going to point out like some things that I think are interesting. So like in here, this was pretty interesting to me as far as what gave the Obama administration and intelligence community at the time, what gave them what did they use as the excuse to think that Trump is a Russian asset, or Putin heavily favored Trump, or was going to actually try to make Trump win, right, through nefarious means. Um, and one of these lines came up as being one of the most important ones. Here it is. Let me see. Okay, Putin had made. Hopefully, you can see that. Fair enough. Hopefully, it says Putin had made this decision to leak DNC emails after he had come to believe that the Democratic nominee had better odds of winning the U.S. presidential election, and that candidate Trump, whose victory Putin was counting on, most likely would not be able to pull off a convincing victory. And they used that line that's in bold right there, whose victory Putin was counting on, as an excuse to say, see, look, Putin's trying to swing the election towards Trump and help him win. That is it. I mean, there's other stuff in here, right? There's I believe 3 reports that they allowed into the kind of main overall intelligence assessment that Tulsi Gabbard and whoever else is working on this thing considered to be flimsy and not up to intelligence assessment standards, right? But this one stood out to me in particular, that they used this line as a reason for this. Now, if you haven't seen me before or seen my channel before, I did not believe in the Russia shit, the Russia gate hoax, whatever you want to call it. I did not believe in that shit from the very fucking beginning. I'm like, nah, bro. And one of the reasons for that was because I was looking at, remember the October surprise with Hillary Clinton, right? And the WikiLeaks drops and the DNC emails and all that stuff, as you can see mentioned in here, to leak DNC emails, which they're calling Putin. They're saying Putin did that. Well, if I go, whoops, wrong one. If I go to page 9 here, where's this shit at? Here it is. All right. So let me just read this, then I think you'll get where I'm going, especially if you paid attention during a time period. So they're calling this scope and sourcing. The ICA notes that key judgments are based on a single, well-established source. Interesting. We make some judgments based on the reporting of an established clandestine source with secondhand access through identified subsources. The source is well established. Other examples of something reporting of person, I assume, of person reporting have been corroborated through other streams of human and signals intelligence. Okay. Now check out this next part. The established source with secondhand access provided us our only specific information on President Vladimir Putin's order to pass collected material to WikiLeaks. So they're saying Putin passed the information or material to WikiLeaks. The timing of the formal influence campaign, the existence of specific planned Russian Foreign Intelligence Service efforts, some specific details of Putin's views of Secretary Clinton, and a reported role of the Federal Security Service hacking operations related to the U.S. election. So back then, I remember people saying a lot more about this Seth Rich guy, even someone as journalistic caliber as Seymour Hersh, right? Saying, oh, Well, it was actually Seth Rich. He did it. He wasn't doing it to save America. He was doing it because he wanted money, right? And Seymour Hersh said a bunch of other stuff like, yeah, these NSA guys are fucking idiots. There's a lot of dumb guys working over there, which is fucked up. That's fucked up, but he's like some sort of grizzled veteran type guy. But anyways, back then, I remember them saying WikiLeaks is essentially like another Russian entity. Like they were getting Russiagated along with that, along with Trump and the Trump administration, right? And back then, like no one was thinking, like as far as regular, in my opinion, independent thinkers were thinking that WikiLeaks was some sort of Russian outlet, right? There's people who have suspicions of them, right? For sure. I can't say I know exactly, but the Russian thing, which WikiLeaks denied, by the way, Assange, WikiLeaks, they all denied. Like, yo, yeah, it's like Russia is not. We're not working with Russia in any regard. We have sources. We keep our sources secret, but like it's not Russia. Um, which once again, you kind of have to. It's up to your amount of confidence and trust in WikiLeaks or Assange. Um, but I thought that was very interesting too. So like I think even the apparatus possibly like surround like this whole thing, the whole RussiaGate thing, that guess what the Trump administration is also accepting as true, right? If you read through the report, you'll see that um, I guess Tulsi Gabbard or the this new intelligence community uh, are basically saying like yes, Russia was trying to influence the election, and they had information on Hillary Clinton, and they were releasing it. They plan to release things, regardless, like assuming that she was going to win, right? They were assuming that okay, Hillary's going to win. We're not doing this to help Trump out. We're doing this because we expect her to win. We're going to try to fuck her up ahead of time, right? To like, because we have some sort of we have some you know embarrassing information about her. Some of the information would I think question her competence to some degree if it's some sort of like physical ailment or mental ailment or whatever the fuck. But it's essentially like probably more so just embarrassing than anything else, from my perspective at least. And that's the claim of these guys. Although they may be just based on reading this portion here, this may be like them just saying WikiLeaks is Russia. They may be doing that in regards to this. Maybe not all of it, but some of it. Um, which to me comes off as like, I don't believe that. I can't say I know, but I don't fucking believe that. I just don't. You know. Um, but yeah, at the same time, because of some of the things we're about to go over after this, they believe that this information that's in here is essentially showcasing and proving that the intelligence community, like their actual assessments were okay. Trump or Putin is not trying to help Trump out, right? They had their own, reservations about Trump, right? But maybe they wanted him to win, but they weren't like trying to make it happen, right? They were more so Hillary's going to win. We're going to try to fucking embarrass her. But that's as far as I get from this report. I don't see um, anything to really criminally investigate about it. I mean, for me, yeah, I'd be like, hey, you guys fucking lied, and you try to subvert their whole campaign or presidency or whatever the fuck. And more importantly, let's be honest, the most important part was to build tensions with Russia, right? That's what I think the real goal was. It wasn't about Trump so much. It was about creating tensions and maintaining tensions with Russia because they're some sort of adversary, and we need to fuck up that superpower to make ourselves feel bigger and stronger, right? The United States government and military and all that stuff. And yeah, but like I said, the information in here is not just, there's no smoking gun of like, okay, we got Obama. Here's the tape recording. Here's the exact quote of Obama saying, yeah, let's subvert the Trump administration because we don't like them. Like, there's no actual statements like that. There's things that are implied, for sure, and there's plenty of evidence throughout it to be like, yeah, I could believe that the Obama administration was trying to subvert the Trump administration. And, you know, like that. I think that's like, I think for me, that was already the case. Maybe, once again, maybe more so for me for building tensions with Russia, but there was some sense of subversion happening. I think that's pretty established by people in their minds, right? But there's just nothing criminal. Like, there's no smoking gun criminality to actually go over. It's so all this to me, all this shit we're seeing, the fucking pretty posters and all this stuff. It's subversion. Another subversion. Another subversion to distract us from something else, or to eat up our time and to get you people to look over here while. I mean, even forget about Epstein, right? They're not going to give a shit with that either. So like they're both coming off as distractions instead of like serious, like investigations into criminal actions. Nothing about any of this stuff feels fucking serious. And then in the back room, they're fucking signing AI fucking, uh, legislation to push AI further in this country and within the government. Or they're bombing over here or bombing over there. They're continuing the genocide in Israel, right? We still fund them and give them weapons and give them protection and all this shit while they're just, you know, destroying another type of people. Let's be honest. We're still giving weapons and money and all this shit to Ukraine so that they can continue fighting Russia. So all this shit seems like a dog and pony show to distract you. But you know what? It's here. I'll cover it. These are pretty popular stories, so I might as well go over it, right? All right, here's DNI, Tulsi Gabbard. Dude, once again, she's just looking weirder and weirder as time goes by. I felt like she like looked different back in like 2015, 2016. Now she's looks crazy to me for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's the personality change where I'm like, ooh, who's this fucking goblin? I mean, she's still hot as shit, but like, you know what I mean? Like, there's like a different like vibe. Who knows? Maybe she's just a really good actor. But, anyways, let's have Tulsi do an official announcement thing. Here we go.
At President Trump's direction and with the support and coordination with the House Intelligence Committee Chairman Rick Crawford, today we've released a declassified Oversight Majority Staff Report that was produced in September of 2020. The stunning revelations that we are releasing today should be of concern to every American. This is not about Democrats or Republicans. This has to do with the integrity of our democratic republic and American voters having faith that the votes cast will count.
So I'm going to say this real quick. Once again, there's a lot of people back then, not just MAGA people, but people with critical thinking skills that weren't doing it for some sort of fan base or for fandom or love for an orange penguin, that were already critical of the story. Like, yo, this sounds like bullshit, and they're just trying to subvert the Trump administration, right? That was already like well understood. Now, the other side of America that votes blue no matter who, right? They vote Democrat every fucking year. Back then, they were like, yeah, Trump's brainwashed by Russia, or he's blackmailed by Russia, or he's owned by Russia, or whatever, right? And guess what? Tulsi doing this report and releasing this now, those same people still believe that Trump is owned by Russia or works with Russia or he's a Putin puppet or some shit like that. To some degree, maybe less than before, but those guys still will not read this report or listen to Tulsi talk about this and just walk away saying, damn, all right, I guess Trump's vindicated. Maybe we shouldn't be so mad at him. Like, nah, because they have their own version of this on the other side, right? The Epstein stuff. Right, so they had, Like, there's no gain, there's no ground gained by doing any of this in regards to the American people. All right, which means, like, once again, and I think they know that, so they know they're bullshitting. So, all right, here we go.
There is irrefutable evidence that detail how President Obama and his national security team directed the creation of an intelligence community assessment that they knew was false. They knew it would promote this contrived narrative that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help President Trump win, selling it to the American people as though it were true.
You don't have proof of that, although I believe that. I believe they made some shit up for that, but she doesn't act like in the documents. There isn't actual smoking gun proof. Here we go.
It wasn't. The report that we released today shows in great detail how they carried this out. They manufactured
No, it
findings from shoddy sources. They suppressed evidence and credible intelligence that disproved their false claims. They disobeyed traditional tradecraft intelligence community standards and withheld the truth from the American people.
So at best, you're saying, like, in a court of law, the best you can say is they were incompetent, which is not criminal to be incompetent. Well, maybe in certain cases, but with this, in this context, no. If they say, you know what, I really like this intelligence right here. For everyone else, to be like, man, that intelligence is dog shit. But they can just say, I like this intelligence, and then use it. Right? And they get away with it. Duh. But here we go.
Intelligence community standards and withheld the truth from the American people. In doing so, they conspired to subvert the will of the American people who elected Donald Trump in that election in November of 2016. They worked with their partners in the media to promote this lie, ultimately to undermine the legitimacy of President Trump and launching what would be a years-long coup against him and his administration. We're here today because the American people deserve the truth, they deserve accountability, and they deserve justice.
And once again, the actual, like, Russia thing, they're reestablishing that as the case. Like, I didn't believe that initially, like, either. Like, is it possible that, yeah, Russia would attempt to do things, or, you know, espionage and all that shit, and spying and hacking and all that stuff? Would they try to do, like, I could see that as very possible, but they never really established any evidence for us. They just say it. They just say that's the case. So now, when people were like, Russia didn't do that back in 2016, right? Now there's Trump fans now that are going to be saying, yeah, Russia did do it, but they weren't doing it for Trump. And now they're reinforced into the whole Russia thing. Like, it was a big story. It wasn't just about Trump. Like I said, WikiLeaks was involved. His name was thrown into all that stuff, right? You know, where the Trump administration actually went after one of the founders, right? Julian Assange, the figurehead, the famous name. Trump administration did some, let's be real, backroom dealing bullshit to get Assange arrested. So they're okay with throwing WikiLeaks under the bus and just saying they're a Russian asset, which is what they were saying in 2016. Now these guys are just reestablishing it. Funny enough, this lady campaigned during 2015, 2016 to run for the Democratic nomination, right? And she would, one of the few of the candidates that actually said, like, oh, free Julian Assange, essentially, right? We need to protect whistleblowers. And now here she is, reinforcing the story that would get him arrested anyway, like, play a role in getting him arrested. It's like, damn, this chick 180'd hard. Like, if you didn't look into the 2016 stuff and the Russiagate stuff, go give it another look. Like, try to, like, find news clips and news articles from mainstream and from independent creators, and, like, really just go through the rabbit hole. Because if you get all that information, you come back to today with what we're seeing now, I think you'll be like, huh, all you motherfuckers are not, like, untrustworthy. Got it. At least that's how I feel. Now, as I was saying, the Obama administration, or Obama himself, right? And I guess the intelligence people around him, Comey, Brennan, Clapper, as far as what Tulsi showed us in that whole, all the documented stuff, right? There's nothing to go on for criminal action, as far as as far as I understand, right? I'm not a lawyer, but I'm just going based on like, is there anything where you can showcase that they're like a smoking gun, right? But guess what's going to happen anyways? For the sake of PR and the sake of distracting you. Justice Department announces formation of strike force to assess evidence publicized by the ODNI. Today, the Department of Justice announced the formation of a strike force to assess the evidence publicized by Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard and investigate potential next legal steps which might stem from DNI Gabbard's disclosures. Right? So they're essentially saying, I gave this example before, right? Where an athlete gets, popped for taking steroids, right? And, that's a big hit for an athlete to be caught with steroids, right? Like, oh, fuck, I'm going to look like an asshole. Like, they're going to hate me. Or cheating in gaming, right? That happens too. But what you can do as a PR move to make yourself look more innocent is to go after them with all guns blazing. Bring out lawyers, whoever the fuck. Bring in your own testers and sue the fuck out of them. You drop lawsuits on them so that it makes it like, see, look, he's fighting it. He's fighting it. That means maybe he's innocent. And they're doing that here. Like, oh, even though we don't actually have anything on it as far as a criminal investigation goes, we don't really have anything as far as what they've showed us. But if we go after them and issue subpoenas or, try to get warrants or whatever the fuck they try to do, right? Make a big deal out of it, make a big extravaganza out of it. It can make it look like, damn, maybe Obama is guilty. Or maybe Obama is going to jail. Which I see a lot of QAnon and hardcore MAGA people saying on Twitter. They're like, it's finally happening. That's what these fools are saying, bro. Not knowing what's actually in the documents and what is the legal precedent for it. Not actually looking at that. And this is another showcase to get those fools riled up, and to eat up space. Let's be honest. They're here to just cloud the room with, oh my God, Obama's going to jail. So that maybe you forget about the Epstein stuff. Or the Israel stuff. Or the Middle East stuff. Or any other thing that's happening around the world. And domestically. Right? We're seeing more and more Americans being fucking picked up in this deportation shit. Let's distract from that stuff. I think maybe mainly Epstein, though. Who knows? But here we go. This department takes alleged weaponization of the intelligence community with the utmost seriousness. Upon the formation of the strike force, Attorney General Pamela Bondi stated, "The Department of Justice is proud to work with my dear friend, Director Gabbard, and we are grateful for her partnership in delivering accountability for the American people. We will investigate these troubling disclosures fully and leave no stone unturned to deliver justice." They should have put that in quotes. Justice. Put that shit in brackets. So, yeah. Full-blown distraction. Seeming distraction. Media circus shit. So that everyone's drawn to these topics when there's all this other shit happening. And, yeah, there's going to be people that fall for it. 100%. Especially the ones that lean towards conspiracy or QAnon or MAGA shit. They will be caught up in this. And then on the other side, once again, even though this looks sus, we don't know if there's anything actually sus there. We don't know if there's anything like legitimately incriminating about Donald Trump. But guess what Democrats are going to do anyways? They're going to make a fucking spectacle out of it. And it'll be like most likely, as far as politicians go, It'll be a small number of people that are actually looking into these topics for the sake of getting the truth. Probably a handful at best will be actually working towards like actually finding like, yo, what happened here? People want to know about this. We should investigate this. But for the rest of them, both these stories are just political. It's political tennis, bro. There's hitting a tennis ball back and forth. Do not get stuck staring at it. It's bullshit. But whatever. There's your video. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. There's your video. Please subscribe if you feel like. Comment. Agree or disagree, or anything you want to add to this, or information that you're aware of that you can hopefully link. Hopefully YouTube doesn't just block your shit. But anything you think is pertinent to this story, or just maybe just a thought you have, please let it be known in the comment section. Do not forget to share, support, hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Check them out, read them, share them, then donate. All of it is very, very, very much appreciated. And with all that said, please, oh, Daddy Trump, please, give this video a thumbs down. Ugh.
Say you wanna get in.